Hey, Amanda, what up?
Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
I'm good. I'm better now that I get to see you
Me
with
too.
football in the background,
Nice to see you, and I see Mark.
right? That crazy man, that crazy husband of mine.
You love.
He says, hi, and I love you, Amanda.
I see that. Cool.
So you
So
ready for our open?
I am.
All right, let's do it, sister.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Unordinary
Ordinary
conversations
conversations
with
with Amanda.
and with Carolyn. And we're so excited to be here like we always are. We cannot wait for our Sundays to record, to post, to Tuesday,
Yes, this is
right?
correct.
Is that good information? And then I know
Yes.
at the end you give everyone the scoop on how to find us and what day and time and etc.
Yes.
So how was your week?
It was good. It was a good week overall. I'd say, yeah, it was also a share. So I've been had my book launch on the 26th, and it's been 2 weeks. So I'm really grateful for all of you out there that have either read my book on Kindle or got a book. That has just been amazing. So I appreciate it. And shout out to all of you. So thank you. And so that's been great. And with that, I'd say the last week I've just been excited because I told you my journey where I left everything and continued, and it's been an interesting journey of learning how to navigate this season. And just recently I'm just so excited because I've continued to have more people join me that are getting freedom and able to really get deeper into like what's holding them back. And the interesting thing is that one thing that showed me is that as I continue to show up, I had some people that because I showed up, I was able to share what I do, have that session, and because of it, they're continuing with me because they want to see that not just emotional impact their business. And I thought that was cool, Carolyn, because when I started, right, I was just looking at the emotional piece, but I realized that I carry this breaker for people that if there's like emotional stuff or like we don't even realize hold us back from truly launching into our business. So for me, it was a shift in realizing that I'm not just for the emotional background, but actually helping people go if they're launching books, if their mindset in their business, and exponentially seeing people have shifts in their voice and even how they carry themselves. And to me, that's huge. So I think for my week was just reflecting on as I keep showing up, you don't realize who's watching, and like you're going to keep showing up for yourself, but also for the people that may not realize they need you or may not realize until you're there. Because if I don't show up, who are the people that I that they're not seeing me. And it's not like about me per se, right? It's about like actually launching them. So it was like really a cool moment, that I'm having some more momentum and just having the people. And it's such an honor because I love all of the people that I have, and it's like a joy for me. It's not like, how like when you love something, so like I love it, and I actually after every time I do it, it makes me, I'm full of joy and love, and I'm excited for the people. So I guess that's why I love it, So like a lot of my week was just really saying, wow, this is really exciting, and just a lot of gratitude, like for people like you, like, that had seen me or like, have like been mentors and like really just solve something in me. And we're like, I'm going to invest in you, whether that's in like, words or like what they do. And I just think it's just amazing. And it reminds me that as I continue, that I want to always continue to do that, to serve people and also be able to give back. And so I think you model that really well. And so, this week was a lot of, just being thankful, learning and continue to show up, and sometimes some things work or it might gravitate to people. And even today, I was really excited because I had 2 people reach out, one for author mindset, another person saying, hey, like, I think that, I really want to meet with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, so it's just like that as we keep showing up and like never giving up. So that was my week of, really wrapping up like my semester, really, getting things in place and knowing that, like for like with not just the book was like just the part of
icing on the cake, the cherry on
it was.
cherry on the whipped cream.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was my week of, and you've been through the ups and downs with me, but it was like a week of like celebration. I was like, oh my gosh, like there are people, and that I get to serve them more. So that was my week of just being really honored and like great that people trust me. So
that's awesome. The words that stick with me, Amanda, are receiving and serving. And I feel very strongly about those words. And I think if like to sum up everything that you said, which you said super well, absorbed everything, but at the end of the day, it's about serving and receiving. And I think that they go hand in hand and you get one with the other, and you're doing an incredible job by being transparent with your message, right? Like, I think that's the most thing you can do for anyone listening to this call is to be honest if you want to communicate with your audience, and your audience may be your best friend, your family, your child, your like whoever it is right. Be open, receive, and like to just roll into my past week of lessons learned is just the whole idea. And of course, we always, I swear to you guys, audience, we do not discuss this in between.
we don't.
And it's just funny because like my notes written down here, right? Like can't fake that, are just the idea of how disappointment and celebration are so interrelated, and in a strange out of the box sort of way, I feel like that's what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
Disappointment leads to opportunity, and opportunity leads to celebration. And I think that sometimes, and this we have, Amanda and I have talked about this, is we all get criticism, and we either get it directly or we take it upon ourselves to interpret something as being critical, right? Like all things given, but the bigger picture is how we at the end of the day work it out and use it to our benefit. Because criticism may be a harsh word, but we need to hear objective opinion. So I'll switch criticism to objective opinion. And I feel that I'm asking of people I know, the audience, my friends, my family, for objective opinion, because I want to be the best queen I can be in delivering my message of being a queen without getting into it right now. That's not my point. But I guess whatever your endeavor is, if people aren't honestly sharing with you how to be better, and I get it, some things you take with a grain of salt, and some things you implement, and some things you get, and some things you don't. And it's a big basket, but you need it to become the best you can be. So I would just say, embrace the disappointment, which leads to opportunity, which leads to celebration, and be open for all of it. So that's my it's not quick. It was a very actually in-depth reflection of my last week, even as of today.
Yeah. Well, I like it because you said like, there's a disappointment or celebration, but sometimes it is just like being in ebb and flow and learning like in the journey, right? That process. So I love how you said
yes, like, learning in the journey. Amanda,
yeah.
Dr. Amanda, learning in the journey. That's it, sister.
Yeah,
seriously.
But I love it. And I love that you're reflecting and, thinking about that. And I think like always learning in the journey goes to, because like, depending, right? Like I think you and I, like we are go-getters, right? And I know a lot of go-getters. So when like things aren't getting on the go,
or go-getting,
right, or go-getting, like it's different.
Right.
Like there's that process, and I think I've learned to enjoy the process. Sometimes it's harder when there's other things, but I'm learning. And sometimes like there's the past, the future, and the now. And it's like, yes, we might know what's going to be the later, but enjoying now and so celebrating the now. Like what are the successes, or even like what is success? Because success sometimes is when like nothing looks like it's changing, but our attitude and like where we are posed, that we're still showing up And we're still saying in this might look to other people like failure, but it's not, because I'm showing up and there's something I'm learning and other people are watching that, because there's something in that. So I think like success for me is different, because some people are like, ooh, like I got it. Like this is amazing. I hit the target. And to me, I'm like, well, that might be different on people. Because to me, hitting the target could be when you're in the lowest of your valley and you're still showing up.
And it's a moving target, right?
Right, it's ongoing. And so it's just interesting, because sometimes we put all this pressure on ourselves, or we're like, well, we have to be X, Y, Z. And I don't know. I think that there's a lot in it that we learn in the journey. And for me, there's more failure that I've had in my life than I've had what people would say is success. But because of it, I handle it differently.
Right.
Because the failure is opportunities to learn, and how I have had thousands of opportunities to learn. But so has other people, like Thomas Edison with his 1,000 times on the light, and how many inventors. I don't know. I just think that I have a different mindset with it. And because of it, it helps us be more creative. But we can be frustrated. You can sit with it. But at some points, I think, like you said, like it's just a different mindset. So anyway.
I know, but here's the thing, is what you just said is most people kind of just shut it down after it happens, whatever it is. And it was like, okay, well, that wasn't meant to be, or that's over, or that wasn't good, or that was good. I mean, maybe it is something good, but it's like, you have to continue that. And that's your responsibility. That's our responsibility as humans, to continue and to change and to affect what's going on. And I just feel so strongly about that right now, from so many different facets of my world. I mean, I know I'm actually not trying to bring up my book, but I just have to explain just really quickly, is with my book, and I'm going to be exploring this in 2022, is I understand what I wrote, and it's so passionate and close to me. And I think that people are not necessarily connecting the way I want them to connect. It's not good or bad. I'm looking at that as an opportunity to teach people further. And with that teaching becomes, again, I'm going to say opportunity, and with opportunity becomes celebration. And with all of that becomes responsibility for being a friend, for being a sister, for being a grandma, for being a friend, for being whoever you are to a person. I just feel like my message today is to just look deeper and read deeper into the simplicity of the message, because you're lucky to be receiving it simply. Yes. Don't complicate it. That's it. I'm good. I'm good.
I love it. No, I think that's great. And I love that we're talking about this and everything. And even from your book, like, yes, like sometimes our perceptions, right, are from other people's perceptions, and being open, which is important. So yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, on the heels of this conversation, my dear Amanda, my Dr. Amanda, my sister, my family, yes. My question for you today, and it can be in the next 5 minutes or in the next 5 years, but what's your next adventure?
Yeah.
It's a big question, but it doesn't need to be a big question. It can be however you want to answer it.
Yeah, I think I have a couple different adventures, but right now what I've been doing is reflecting on what is it, where am I at, like where do I want to go? But my next adventure before the end of the year is that I'm going to go to a beach. I don't know where yet, for New Year's, because I don't really do like, I don't know. New Year's has always been an awkward time. Like I've had a few fun ones or like out, but I really just don't like, I'm more of a reflect at the end of the year person, maybe go out for dinner. And so for me, like going to a beach or going to like away and being able to reflect on my year, being at the beach is like amazing to me. So I'm actually doing that. Last year I didn't get to do it, and I'm gonna do that again. And so my next adventure between now and the end of the year is, on a small scale but big scale, is me going to away for New Year's and just being at the beach or somewhere where I can just kind of have downtime, enjoy hopefully a little bit more warm weather wherever I go, and then be refreshed for the new year.
I love it. Dip your toes in the water, right?
yes, hopefully somewhere where I can. Otherwise, I'll just pretend that it's like
Right, exactly.
but it always ends up being like 60s on the, if I go to New Jersey.
Well, I know, but 60 is better than where we're at, right?
Yes, no, it's good. And then for you, I know, well, I'm bringing up your book again just because, but like you just wrote a book, but is there any creative thoughts of a new book in your upcoming end of the year or next year?
Okay, so you will laugh because you will understand this, and unless you've ever driven with me, you won't understand it.
I have.
But oh my God, my husband's in the background going, I don't recommend driving with her. But
I
it
survived.
is
Look at me.
you survived, right? Exactly. But it's just funny because everyone who gets in the car with me complains about my driving, and we've actually come up with this, like, it's usually friends who know the story that I just wrote, and it's about, I don't even know how to put this into words because I've never really said it quite yet, but the twists and turns of the drive. And I always think I'm on a straight path, but I never am, but I always interpret it as a straight path. And when Amanda was visiting me and we were going on a run, I was like, it's just straight. All you do is go straight. But there was nothing straight. Like as we were going, I'm like, oh, it's straight, but then you have to do this. And then it's straight, but then you have to dip here. And I think it's a book that is going to be just about the dips and switches you take. And it's going to be something about being on the road. It's going to be something about being on the path. And I don't know if it'll be like, I don't know 100% that it'll be children's book again, because I'm still like philosophizing in my head and figuring it all out. But several weeks ago, I was with some friends on a car ride, and it just naturally fell like, okay, this is going to be the subject, and now I have to flesh it out. So thank you for asking.
No, I love it.
And shout out to Louise and Trina, who were in the car, and then Amanda, who followed the car ride after them. Who knows? It's always an interesting drive, right? We got a flat tire. I mean, it's all good, but it's all part of the story. So
I love it.
There you go.
No, I love it. I love it. And I love the twists and turns thing. I think that's exactly it, right? And sometimes like not, or it could be even like communication, right? So like, hey, it's this way, and then other people are like, oh, why that way? And so it could be a part of that. So no, I love it. So now, right, I loved hearing your thoughts about your upcoming new book that might not be a children's book. Now we have our quote to sum up everything.
Yes.
Do you have one that you want to share?
I do. Can you do yours first or no? I have to pull mine out. I might need a minute. I might need. I do need a second.
I think I actually have one, but I have to look it up real quick because you said about twists and turns, and it's one of my favorite poems. So here we go. And it's called "Don't You Quit." Okay.
Oh, I love "Don't You Quit." Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think I wrote this already, but it just says, let's see here. I think it says about a twist and turns. Oh yeah. Life has its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another low. And that is a really, I think it was in the early, like maybe almost 100 years ago. And I can't see the author in this one, but basically it's an amazing, I've had that like in my room all through middle school and high school. And I just love that. And I feel like that's just like reflects my life, like when you're like going through things. So when you said about the twists and turns, it reminded me of that poem. So I switched my quote to that part.
Okay. I love it. It's awesome. And I completely understand it. And mine is, excellence is never an accident. It's the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, which I try and do that every day, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities. And I think it kind of goes back to my story in the beginning of like from disappointment to opportunity to celebration. It's like they all add up to be the cherry on the whipped cream, the icing on the cake, blah, blah, whatever the right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love
The
it.
pumpkin in the pie,
There you go.
the
The pumpkin.
cherry, no, hold on. The warm apple in the cake that you baked.
Yes,
Now I'm rhyming.
the
right?
apple with the
We're gonna-
sauce. Yep, I
The
love it.
apple and the sauce. There you go. I like that. The apple and the sauce.
Yes,
That's
I
much
love
better.
it.
There you
See
go.
y'all, see
Right?
y'all, we're doing our plan words today for you all. And yes, so
I don't
now,
know. I think this was awesome. I'm excited that we got to do this. We have a couple episodes left, right? We're gonna get to our,
this is episode 20.
yep, we're up to 20 and we're gonna try and get to 20, or not try, but attempt to get to 22 or more before the end of the year. And then we're going, correct me how I'm saying this, because I'm the older person in the group, which is totally okay. But we're gonna like go live on Podcast World, where you can find us on a real podcast station in 2022. So we're gonna do a couple more episodes and then we're gonna like resume so that we can figure out our plan for 2022.
Yes, we are. Podcasts and YouTube. We will be unleashing that into 2022 and some other things that will be surprises. But for now, you can find us on LinkedIn on Unordinary Conversations with Amanda and Carolyn. We have our own page, so join us. We have I try to remember to go, like I usually am on there, but like we post our episodes. You can comment, you can, give us a message, give us feedback. We would love it. And we're going to continue to keep showing up because there are some other things that are going to come out of it. So certainly join us, like it, share, follow, tell other people. We love you. And we're just so glad to be here to empower you every week.
Exactly. And Amanda, what do you think if we offer or open up for next year to invite guests and have people email us or respond on our page of not why they should be a guest, because I don't need a why. I mean, everyone can be a guest, but like, what's your story or what's your message, just so that we can be excited about it and bring you on. So I think do you think that's a good idea? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could have that. Maybe what it could be is like we could highlight people, like maybe it'd be like a special guest once a month, or it could morph, but I definitely think that might be great, in the new year, like having people come on, maybe sharing their unordinary.
Right, it has to be unordinary, right?
Yeah, with
don't
us,
the ordinary stuff. Don't tell us you took your dog for a walk.
we may have some ordinary conversations that you're just going to be on the show and it's going to be, hey, we're just going to have a conversation and ask you some questions. So it might be a longer one than when we have the special edition with a guest, and we'll see how y'all like it. I love it, Carolyn. It's good.
Cool. All right. You ready to wrap it up?
Yes. Here we go.
Right. I love you, Amanda.
I love you too, Carolyn.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Unordinary
conversation with Carolyn. So glad. We are so glad to be here, and we love you.
Yeah, see you next time.
Peace.